can't get to her. Okay, hi guys, welcome to the Rusty Beauty's garage and to the 1972 GT6 by the name of Anna. So it's Sunday and I wanted to do a little bit of work on her, but she is like totally blocked there and I don't want to start moving stuff now out so I can work on her, because there's another car here that we are working on currently and I have some work to do on it before I put the bonnet on, and I don't want to start now moving parts this way just for the day, so and tomorrow move everything away so I can work on this car. But I can still do some work on the GT6, so let me show you what I mean. So 2 videos ago we finally started the engine of this car after it was rebuilt 2 years ago and I never started it. So we finally started it, but we had issues with vacuum leaks, like serious issues. We couldn't make it run well and we couldn't make it stay running even. So that is what I want to deal with, or at least prepare for dealing with that. And by preparing I mean I know where the vacuum leaks are coming from. They are from these insulators on the carburetors that I didn't realize that require a special gasket because of this notch here, which is for the throttle bypass. As you can see here, this is a third one. This is not the one from the car, but the ones on the car are the exact same. You can see how here, if you use just a regular gasket, it takes a shortcut here and leaves a little bit of an opening on the outside. So that's where the vacuum leak is coming from. So I went and I looked around into what is available, and I figured I had the wrong gaskets there. So this is the correct gasket, and if we use the correct gaskets here, that should work just fine. So I ordered new ones and I have them here. So in theory we should be able to just take the carbs out, replace the gaskets and put them back in. However, the insulators that are on the car right now, I remember when I was putting them on, they didn't look great. And I mean, the surface seemed to be a little bit rough, like the edges were rounded, and I'm not sure if they're gonna hold very well. So I was thinking to just take sandpaper and just sand them a little bit and make them nice and smooth, both sides again. However, one thing I realized while I was doing the research, this is asbestos and it's not great to be sanded. And I actually went on the wire wheel when I cleaned the edges on the ones that are on the car. So now I'm thinking I did something really bad. But you can see here the edges, how they are rough. I'm afraid that this material is just deteriorating, and I thought maybe I should buy new ones and replace them. Well, good idea. However, they're not available. You can't buy them anywhere. So apparently it's an obsolete part. But I did a little bit more research and I figured that nowadays the insulators are made out of phenolic sheet, which I happen to have one here. I mean, I bought one. So this is a 1/4 inch and this I think is about 3/16. So it's a 1/16 thicker, but that doesn't make a big difference. I know for a fact the studs on the manifold are long enough, and for a 1/16 I don't think we're gonna move the carburetors so far out so the bonnet will touch them. So I think we're good with that. I can always take a 1/16 off on the mill, and maybe I should, I don't know. Anyway, so what I want to do is I want to make new insulators today out of the phenolic sheet, and for that I think we should just take a gasket and just use it as a template. I mean, it is pretty accurate. It matches the old asbestos thingy. It's gonna be mostly made by hand, especially the external shape, but maybe at least for the 3 holes here, I can use my mill for a first time. So yeah, let's try and do that. All right, that wasn't too bad. Look at that. We made 2 perfectly identical spacers. And yes, they match the shape, the original shape as well. I was a little bit worried about my mill skills because I've never used my mill, so that was a learning curve, but it worked well. So yeah, it took like 15 minutes and I managed to get it on the first try. Uh-oh. Okay. I got busted. Yeah. 15 minutes or maybe entire day. It took me the entire Sunday, guys. This is the first one that I did, and I went with all these calculations here, measurements like angles and all that, and it could have worked, but something didn't quite match. I don't know. It could have worked, but it wasn't the same as the gasket, and I wanted it to be perfect. So I left this one alone, and this is the one that we made together. This one was going pretty well until I screwed it up right here. You see, I somehow screwed up the measurements. So I abandoned that, and then the third and the fourth trial worked perfectly. So I brought them on the mill to this shape, like with a little bit sharp corners here and there, and then the rest of course I did on the vise with some sandpaper. I smoothed the corners. They were like this. They didn't come like this from the mill, of course, but I'm happy. They became absolutely identical, and I'm loving my first real mill experience. I mean, I used it once just to do some testing on it to see how the end mills work and all that, and that was it. It's, I don't know, 6-7 months now. I haven't used it ever again. So this was now the first time I actually used it for a real project, and I'm pretty happy with it. Am I gonna use it more often now? I don't think so, because you see, this is the main problem here. In order to use the mill, I have to remove the compound and mount a vise, which I have. I actually tried with the vise first, but then I realized that rotary table is going to be much better option here for this kind of a project, so I mounted it. But you see, I can't even mount it square. If I mount it square like this way, my wheel ends up like right here, and it's hard to use. If I mount it this way, I don't have, like, I have to figure out something else to mount it, not the mounting holes, because the channels here are not correct. But if switching it from lathe to mill was much faster and easier, I was gonna probably use it more often, especially here when I have power feed on the carriage, so in X direction, and I also have power feed on my cross sled here, so I have Y direction power feed. So it would be great to use it as it is, but it is, like I said, it takes forever to set up. And during the project I needed a little bushing. For example, when I was putting these on, you see they wobble. So I was thinking, well, what if I make a bushing here to take away this play, and I'm gonna be able to have much higher precision. Well, how do I make bushings on the lathe? Well, I can't use the lathe. So this is the problem here with lathe mill combo. But I have an idea. I'm thinking I'm just gonna buy an XY table, and I'm gonna take this whole entire column off. It is detachable. I had it detached before, so if I detach it and mount it on a solid base somewhere, and I mount my XY table on a solid base, I will be able to make my own mini mill or micro mill or whatever it is. I think it's a micro mill, but it has its own controls here. They're not from here, from the lathe, because in some of these lathe mill combos, the controls for the mill are here on the lathe, and then you can separate them. This one is totally separable. You can unplug it and plug it into the wall somewhere else. So that's my idea. I'm working on that, finding a solid base where I can mount the column and an XY table. So anyways, that was it. Like I said, it took an entire day. I'm not kidding you. I started probably around noon. That was yesterday on Sunday, and I didn't even finish last night. I finished today sanding the second piece. Now, I know some people are gonna start telling me now there's laser cutting, there's CNC mills all over the place. You can just go and they're gonna do that for you in 15 minutes. Is it gonna be fun for me though? No, that was a great fun. It was a great opportunity for me to learn a little bit how a mill works, because I've never used a mill before. Of course, I've watched thousands of videos and I have an idea, but never experienced it myself. And now, like how backlash works, because you see, the turntable has lots of backlash. So now I had to take in consideration the backlash all the time, tighten it here and all that. A funny fact, something that threw me off a lot in the beginning, I have scale here for the degrees, and I have scale here on the wheel as well. This is where the mark is, but I wasn't using this mark. I created my own mark here where the black line ends. That was my mark, so I could see. So say, let me turn it to 0 just for, okay. So this is my 0. I have 0 here, and I have the backlash, and I have 0 here. Do you see that? So this is where my 0 is. And now every turn on the wheel is 10 degrees, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now I have here 10 showing up. What if we do 8 more? Make it 90 degrees. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, right? So we're at 90 degrees now. But look where the 90 is now. It doesn't match the black line. What is wrong here? I was thinking here, what's going on? So let's go to 180. So another 9 turns, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Put it at 0, and we are at 180 now, but it is even further now from the mark, from my mark, where I consider this my mark, right? What the heck is going on? Let's do another 90. So go to 270. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Even further away. And then another 90, we should go to 0, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's our 0. But our 0 is now over there. We are still at 350. We need to make one extra turn. And now our 0 comes here. So 360 equals 10 times 37 with this rotary table. So that threw me off. Turns out that 90 degrees is 9 1/4 turns, not 9 turns of the wheel. I'm guessing the threads on the road here are the wrong threads. They couldn't find the closer pitch, so they just went with the closest one. But yeah, 37 times 10 is 360 apparently. I'm telling you, it took me 1 hour to figure this out. So again, was it worth spending an entire day making these two, even though they are obsolete, instead of taking them to a laser cutting shop or a CNC milling and stuff shop? Absolutely. I loved it. I loved the experience. I loved learning new things. And I'm really satisfied with the result, I'm telling you. Now, the last one probably took me like 30 minutes to make. Seriously. The first one probably took me 3 hours. The second one took me 2 hours. The third one took me an hour. And the last one took me half an hour. So it was a learning curve. The next time it's not gonna take me an entire day. So yeah, let me clean this lathe now. And I can't work on the car today because it's Monday and I have other work to do here on customers' cars. But maybe one day of this week we're gonna go with Thursday and we're gonna replace this and the gaskets and install the coolant fitting there, and maybe we can start the car again and see if it's gonna stay running, which we need to do so we can tune it up a little bit. Like, we don't need to go crazy, but we can tune it up a little bit and make it run for a longer time, etc, etc. Actually, I want to show you something else. This is what I want to show you. This is a package that I received from one of you guys. His name is Steve, and he sent me this lowering block for the GT6. So that's what we're gonna use. Oh, he said it was 1/2 inch, but I think this is 3/4. Even better. Great. So, not that we can't make this on the mill now, right? And yeah, so thank you so much, Steve. So that's gonna unblock our situation in the back, so we can lower the car a little bit more. I know that the final adjustment needs to be done when the car is complete with all the weight in the car and all that, but at that time I'm not gonna have access. I need to estimate. I need to be really, really close to what I want now. So we're gonna need to put this and load the car with something in it to represent the weight of the glass and the bumper and the tail lights and the gas tank and all that. But we need to do it now. Unfortunately, I hear you guys when you say you need to do that at the end when the car is ready. Well, I can't do it at that time. I need to do it now, so I need to guesstimate something. I'm gonna need longer studs for this, I know. We're gonna either make them or buy them, we will see. But Steve was supposed to send me only this, but he decided to throw in some other parts, including these buttons for the spring. So, we might play with these as well. I guess we're gonna have to take the whole spring out again and find some articles and measurements about the height of the bow and all that. I'm not familiar with anything. Oh, that's a vent for the diff. Interesting. There's even a letter from him. Bushings for the sway bar, pulley. Oops. Engine mounts, nice. Brand new engine mounts. These work for GT6 or TR6 as well. And that's the other one. And oh, diff mounts. Well, my diff is already on. These are rubber. My diff is already mounted, and I'm not sure what I used. I think I used poly, but yeah, this can come handy at some point. So thank you so much, Steve. And also there's a nice letter here from him. I'm not gonna read it to you, but yeah. And he's asking me to show the break-in process of an engine. So soon, Steve, when we go to start the engine of the TR6. For now, I'm just gonna put everything away, and that's it. Thank you so much, Steve. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go work on the TR6 today. Well, it's the next day, guys, and you know, I received lots of parts for this TR6. I was waiting for parts for a long time, and the head from the machine shop, and finally everything is here. So I have to push on it, and this means that I'm not gonna have time this week to work anymore on the GT6, but maybe on the weekend, I don't know. So you know what, I'm gonna stop this video here so I can post it for you. So it's gonna be a shorty. I don't know how much of the footage I'm gonna show you because it's boring. We'll decide. But anyways, it's gonna be a GT6 video without the GT6 in it. Well, you saw a glimpse of it, so here it is. So anyways, that's gonna be everything for today, guys. I appreciate you watching, commenting, subscribing, sharing, and supporting the channel. Without you, I wouldn't be able to make these videos, or at least they wouldn't be so detailed, and definitely I wouldn't put so much effort in them. But because of your support, I'm able to spend more time on the computer. So I really thank you for that. I appreciate all your help. So that's gonna be everything for today. Stay tuned for TR6 videos. The work on it starts now full steam. So the next few episodes on the channel are gonna be about this TR6. So once again, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.